What your dog actually sees on TV. The secret science. You leave the TV on for your dog. Right, but are they actually watching? Or just waiting for you to drop those tasty snacks? Seriously, what if I told you that for years? TV for your dog was like a busted, flickering old movie, but get this. The screen you're staring at right now might have just unlocked a whole new dimension for your dog. You are not gonna believe this. So stick around because what your dog really sees on TV is insane. Section 1, The Mystery of the Canine Couch Pate. Alright, we've all seen it, the cute head tilt. The random barks at the screen. Or maybe your dog just doesn't care about your brand new 8K TV. For so long, we've just been guessing what's happening in their little doggy brains. We think they see what we see. Just a bit blurry, right? Wrong. A dog's view of your TV is crazy different from yours. It's not just shapes and sounds. People, it's their eyes, their brains. What actually makes them look? We watch a crazy movie explosion. But what does your dog see? A crazy story or just a bunch of weird lights? This is huge. Figuring this out will blow your mind and even help you make your dog's life awesome. Especially when you're out, so let's crack this code. Section 2, Secret 1, A Different Hue. The world through a dog's eyes. Secret number 1, let's talk color. You've heard dogs see in black and white. Right, that's a myth. But their world isn't like our rainbow explosion. We have 3 color cells, red, green, blue, boom, all the colors. Dogs, they're dichromats, only 2 types. It's like being red-green colorblind. So that bright red ball on TV, your dog probably sees it as a shade of brownish yellow or maybe dark gray. Those epic green nature scenes, they'll look more like a muted yellow or gray to your pup. They mainly see the world in shades of blue and YELLOWS. This is wild, so if your dog loves shows with blue skies or yellow tennis balls, now you know WHY. And get this, some studies even hint that cartoons, often full of bold and contrasting blues and yellows, can actually be pretty engaging for over 10% of dogs. Crazy. Beyond color, there's also sharpness, or what scientists call visual acuity. Your 20/20ths vision is crisp. A dog's normal vision is more like 20/60ths or even 20/75ths. What that means is, for a dog to see an image with the same clarity as a human standing 60 or 75 feet away, the dog would need to be just 20 feet away. That's why they practically sniff the TV. They're literally trying to get a better look. From a distance, the image is simply grainier and fuzzier for them. Section 3, Secret 2, The Flicker Factor and Motion Sensitivity. Secret number 2, this is where it gets absolutely insane. And this is why old TVs were garbage for dogs. Dogs have super sensitive eyes for motion. Thank their wolf ancestors hunting prey. Their eyes have more of a specific type of nerve cell called rod cells, which are fantastic for picking up light and motion, especially when it's dim. This amazing motion sensitivity also means they have a way higher flicker fusion rate than we do. This rate is basically the speed at which a series of still images needs to flash by for us to see it as smooth. Continuous motion. Humans generally see motion as smooth if images are shown at around 50 to 60 Hz, that's 50 to 60 images per second. Older standard definition TVs, the kind many of us grew up with, usually had a refresh rate around 60 Hz. For us that looked perfectly fine, we saw smooth movement. But dogs, their flicker fusion rate can be 75 Hz or higher. So that 60 Hz TV that looked fine to you probably looked like a super annoying, jerky, flickering mess to your dog, almost like an old-timey, jerky movie. Imagine trying to watch your favorite show if it was constantly strobing. Not very enjoyable, right? It's no wonder so many dogs seemed completely uninterested in television for decades. They were probably thinking, why are my humans staring at this seizure box? This flicker thing is key. It's why new TVs are a total game changer for dogs. Section 4, The Reveal, The High-Definition Revolution for Hounds. And now, the big reveal, the high-definition revolution for your hounds. The change from older, standard-definition CRT televisions, those big, boxy ones, to modern LCD, LED, OLED, and QLED screens has, maybe without even meaning to, made television way more appealing and understandable for dogs. There are 2 huge things here: higher refresh rates and way better resolution. Modern HD, 4K, and even 8K televisions have significantly higher refresh rates, often 120 Hz, 240 Hz or even more. At these speeds, the image display is way faster than a dog's flicker fusion threshold. So what used to be a distracting, strobe-like light show now appears as smooth, fluid and continuous motion, just like it does for us. Suddenly, that squirrel darting across the screen in a nature documentary looks like a real squirrel darting, not just a bunch of disjointed, flickering images. Along with higher refresh rates, the massively improved resolution of HD and 4K screens also plays a big part. Remember how we said dogs have less visual acuity than humans? The sharper, clearer images produced by high-definition screens mean that even from a bit of a distance, the picture is less blurry and more defined for your dog. They can make out shapes and details much more easily than they ever could on those older, fuzzier screens. Imagine if your vision was blurry and you were trying to watch a flickering screen. You'd probably give up too. But if the image suddenly became sharp and smooth, you'd naturally be more interested. This is exactly what seems to have happened for many dogs. The technology in our living rooms finally caught up to what their eyes can handle. This leap in tech means that the moving images are now much more likely to seem real and engaging, making TV a potentially more stimulating experience for our canine pals than ever before. It's not stretching it to say that modern TV has literally opened a new visual universe for them. This is huge. Section 5. What content makes their tails wag? Canine viewing preferences. So dogs can actually see TV better now. What do they want to watch? If you've ever noticed your dog perk up when certain things appear on screen, you're not crazy. Research, including some big surveys of pet owners, has given us some pretty cool insights into what dogs prefer to watch. Number 1. Other animals, especially other dogs. In one study, almost 90% of owners said their dogs were most interested in animal content, with dogs being the top pick. Makes sense, right? They're social. They recognize their own kind and other creatures. So if your dog barks or runs up to the screen when another dog appears, classic. Movement is also massive. Fast-moving objects, animals running, or scenes with lots of action are far more likely to grab and hold a dog's attention. This is why things like ball sports, or even just footage of cars moving, can sometimes be surprisingly interesting for them. Their eyes are just built to track motion, and the smoother motion on modern TVs makes this even more captivating. What about humans on screen? Meh. Way less interesting to dogs. In surveys, shows featuring people usually rank pretty low when it comes to keeping a dog's attention. Way behind content focused on animals. Some dogs also show an interest in animated content or cartoons, while real animals are definitely the favorite. Over 10% of dogs in some studies engaged with cartoons. This might be because of the exaggerated movements and the use of bright colors like blues and yellows, which, as we now know, dogs can see pretty well. Shows like Blue Eye, which lean heavily on these colors and animal characters, have even been anecdotally reported as favorites among some pups. And it's not just about what they see. Sound is the key to high-pitched squeaks. Barks or familiar sounds like a doorbell ringing can definitely grab their attention, sometimes even more than the images themselves. Some dogs might look like they're watching a documentary, but are actually reacting more strongly to the animal sounds in it. Section 6. Not all pups tune in. Individual differences in TV viewing. Just like us humans, not every dog is going to be a TV fanatic. If your dog ditches TV time, that's totally normal too. Several things influence whether a dog will engage with television, and how much. Breed is a big one. Studies and observations suggest that sporting and herding breeds, think border collies, retrievers, or Australian shepherds, tend to show more interest in television. This is likely because these breeds were historically bred for their sharp visual attentiveness, their quick response to movement, and their drive to monitor and react to what's happening around them. On the flip side, hound breeds, which were primarily bred for their incredible sense of smell, might be less visually glued to a screen. Age is another important factor. Younger dogs, who generally have better vision and more energy, are often more likely to pay attention to screens than older dogs. As dogs get older, their vision can naturally decline, making the images on TV less clear, and therefore less interesting. And then there's just plain old personality. Some dogs are simply more curious, reactive, or easily stimulated by sights and sounds than others. An outgoing, playful dog might be more inclined to interact with the images they see, while a more laid-back or anxious dog might ignore it, or even find it a bit unsettling. Some dogs might watch super intensely, cocking their heads and tracking movements, while others might only glance at the screen for very short periods, typically between 1 and 5 minutes. Very few watch for extended periods, like 20 minutes or more, and their reactions can bewilder, including approaching the screen, barking, whining, growling, or even looking behind the TV to find where the images and sounds are coming from. Section 7. TV as a window to the world but not a substitute. Is TV good for your dog? For many dogs, especially those left alone for a while, television can indeed be a form of sensory stimulation and enrichment. Tons of owners report leaving the TV or specific dog-focused programming on to help with boredom or even separation anxiety. There are even channels and online content, like DOG-TV, designed specifically with doggy viewers in mind. They use colors, frame rates, sounds, and content all tailored to their unique senses, often featuring short, engaging segments perfect for their attention spans. The visual and auditory input from a TV show can offer a bit of mental stimulation, giving them something to focus on and react to. It can expose them to different sights and sounds, which can be especially good for indoor dogs. Some studies even suggest that for dogs in kennels, visual stimulation from TV can have a positive impact on their. It's so important to remember that television is not a replacement for real-world interaction, physical exercise, and social companionship. While it can be a useful tool in your dog enrichment toolkit, it should always supplement, not substitute, regular walks, playtime, training, and quality time spent with you. Your dog still needs to sniff everything and explore. No nature documentary, no matter how vivid it looks on your 4K screen, can replace the smells of the local park or a game of fetch, ever. Think of TV as a sometimes cool distraction, a little bit of fun, but definitely not the main event of their daily activity or emotional well-being. So here's the deal: the way our dogs experience television is an insane mix of biology, behavior, and technology. For years, their unique way of seeing, with that dichromatic color vision and high sensitivity to flicker, meant that TV was probably a pretty lame, and probably less engaging, experience for them. They see in a world of blues and yellows, and older screens probably just looked like a confusing, flickering mess. But then came high-definition television, with their super-high refresh rates and crystal-clear resolution. They flipped the switch. These tech upgrades have made on-screen motion smooth and images sharp, finally lining up with how dogs actually see the world. This means that for many dogs, TV can now be a legitimately captivating experience. We've learned that they're most drawn to content featuring other animals, especially dogs, and lots of movement. And while what they like can vary a lot based on their breed, age, and personality, the right kind of programming on the right kind of screen can offer some valuable mental stimulation and enrichment. Understanding what your dog actually sees on TV helps us make smarter choices about how we use it. It can be a way to help keep them occupied when they're alone, or even just a fun way to watch their unique reactions. But remember, it's always a supplement, never a substitute, for the essential physical activity and loving human interaction that every single dog needs. So next time you're channel surfing with your furry friend by your side, you'll have a much deeper appreciation for the incredible way they see their world, both on and off the screen.